A very pleasant good afternoon and welcome to the afternoon rush. My name is Randolph Pritchell. I want to say thank you very much for those persons joining us here this afternoon. A very pleasant good afternoon to you joining us internationally in the region or right here in Guyana. I want to say thank you as usual. And like we like to start here on the afternoon rush, let me know where you're joining us from. Drop a comment. Let me know where you're joining us from as usual. We will give you a little shout out here on the afternoon rush. As we do that, of course, share the live stream. We are going to be sharing at a number of places. We are also live on YouTube for those persons who like to look at us on YouTube. Let me see where you're joining us from. Canada is in the house. Listening from Canada. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us. London is in the house. Barbados in the house. Toronto is in the house. Thank you very much for joining us. French Guiana. Somebody on YouTube is looking at us in French Guiana. Mingo. Litchfield Berbice is in the house. Thank you very much for joining USA. Joining from USA. South Carolina. Thank you very much. Linden is in the house. West Bank. Demerara is in the house. Folks, just let us know where you're joining us from. Welcome to the rush for today, Monday, the 3rd of May. Thank you very much. Of course, we're coming up on the 5th of May, which is Arrival Day in Guyana, national holiday. We're looking forward to that. But let's continue to say where you're joining us from. Give us that shout out. Somebody say Brazil. Thank you very much. Virginia, Lodge, Georgetown. Thank you very much for coming through and being a part of the program. Share the live stream. You know what we do here on The Rush. We share the live stream so other persons know that the credible and valid information is about to be unpacked right here. East Coast, New Jersey, Kildonan. That's in Berbice. That's in region number 5. I believe region number 6 or 5. Kildonan, you can confirm for me which region that is in New Jersey. Brooklyn, Long Island, Kingston. I thought it was Kingston, Jamaica. It's Kingston, Georgetown. Those persons out there in Kingston, thank you very much for tuning in. Watching from Bartica. Right, Grove is in the house. As we do this, of course, we give you an opportunity to share the live stream because we have a lot to unpack today. We're going to be off at 6:30 because, of course, we are going to be making way for building bridges with Natasha, MP Natasha Lewis, Natasha Singh Lewis. She's going to be coming on at 6:30 with building bridges. As you say, where you're joining us from Montreal. Wow, all the way there in Canada. Thank you very much for joining us. Let me, of course, share a few other places so persons can right. Let's see this. Let's see what's happening here. Right. So, Atlanta, Georgia. Every time I see Atlanta, I remember I'm thinking about the basketball teams. Good. For those persons who are following me along with the NBA, of course, this is just to give you. I like to make my NBA references to those persons who join the show now. That's something I do. We're gonna probably have a nice NBA talk sometime soon. We're gonna have a nice NBA discussion. I'm going to bring a few persons on who are following, but we have other news to discuss this afternoon. We're gonna jump right in it, folks, right into what we are supposed to be doing today. Before I do that, though, I have a special shout out for someone from one of our loyal viewers from Antigua, and I have to ensure that I get this correct. I'm told that this person looks at our program religiously, and so let me ensure that I get his name and ensure that I get his name correct. We know we have lots of viewers over there in Antigua, but I want to say a special shout out to a friend of the show, Mr. Earlton Osborne. Earlton Osborne of Antigua. A special good afternoon to you, loyal viewer of the Rush, and we want to say thank you very much to Earlton Osborne of Antigua, who has been a loyal viewer, I'm told, for many months now, who's locked in and always views the program. And to all of our viewers over there in Antigua, we want to say a very special good afternoon to you. And we hope that you continue to support the program, continue to support what we're doing here, and ensure that you're locked every afternoon for the credible and valid information. Great. Thank you very much. Let's get right into it. 427 days since the March 2nd regional and general elections, and we still do not have credible results from those elections. 427 days. It has been 274 days of this PBP installed fraudulent administration, and they continue to show their colors. They continue to show us who they are, this uncaring, unfeeling government that has been imposed on this country. And now we're saddled with that burden that is the PBP for however long. Folks, we continue to watch what is happening. Day 274 of the resistance. I want to jump right in as we talk about numbers. Folks, I always start the show with what I like to deem as bad numbers. Bad numbers. And this here is what I'm talking about. Folks, today we recorded 2 more COVID-19 deaths, taking the death toll to an unbelievable 303. This is where we are in this country. This is where we are in this country. We say these numbers every day, and I don't think people understand fully what is really going on in our country. What is really going on in the country. And I have another special shout out to do. I'll do that at the end of the show. But let us talk about this COVID-19 situation in Guyana. I think April slipped by and people didn't really realize what happened in April. Right? People really didn't realize. Let me pull this up so we see what is happening here. For the month of April was the deadliest month as it relates to COVID-19. 65 persons would have died from COVID-19 in the month of April. It is unbelievable. This is more than 2 persons a day in the month of April. No, did April only had 30 days? The month of April has ended with almost twice the number of COVID-19 deaths as March, making the month with the highest number. Unbelievable. We passed the 300 number. Folks, it is a sad situation. A sad situation unfolding in Guyana. We see what is happening in India. We see what is happening in other parts of the world, with deadly and deadlier strains being discovered and being confirmed that it is plaguing the people. Folks, we need to be taking this way more seriously than I think we are. And we highlighted the fact that this PBP government, I don't know what they were thinking when they were installed. Why would they roll back a lot of those policies and things put in place by the APNU AFC to ensure that people are kept safe. Now, when all of those things are rolled back, curfew pushed back, they relax all of the measures. Now they are reverting to what the APNU AFC would have been doing. Now they're even going further. Because this now they have created this crisis, so to speak, with their poor handling and their nonchalant attitude towards COVID-19. We've seen what April held. We saw what is happening in our country. 303 persons. This is unbelievable. This is really, really sad. Really sad. And I don't know. There are few words for me to express how sad this is as we see Guyanese people dying every day due to this COVID-19. But like I said, we have to move on, folks. Sad to see this, but we have to move on. Let's deal with some other things in the news. Folks, we've been highlighting for many months now. We've been highlighting now for many months the fact that there is a rise in crime. There is a sharp spike in crime in Guyana. We've been highlighting it for months. Now, the Home Affairs Minister, Robson Beng, has acknowledged the spike in crime, right, and committed to working with the business community to address their concerns. So it took the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce to write so that Minister Beng could react. Apparently, he has emerged from his cocoon. He has emerged from his wherever he was hiding, his little hibernation den, and he has suddenly, like Columbus, realized that, listen, there's crime happening in Georgetown, and there's crime all around the country, and it's spiking. The Minister of Home Affairs has woken up, guys. He has suddenly arisen and realized that he has been doing a poor job. This is what I'm getting from this. We're hearing from Beng all the time. Citizens have been complaining. Businesses are complaining about the crime situation. Now suddenly the minister wake up and he acknowledged that there's a spike in crime. After the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce executive recently met with him, they had to write a letter, Now they had to meet with him. Home Affairs Minister Robson Beng has acknowledged the spike in crime. The president of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Tony Tucker, said that the chamber has received favorable feedback from Beng. Yeah, you wake up. We suddenly wake up about their concerns raised about the recent spike in criminal activities in Guyana. Folks, all I can say is I hope that he stays awake. We hope that the minister stays awake and actually starts doing what he's supposed to be doing to fight crime in Guyana. Because we've been saying it all the time. It's been evident, it's been clear as day that there's a serious problem, there's a serious issue with crime in Guyana. There's a serious issue, and the minister has woken up. So let's take it as a good sign that the minister decided to arise from his slumber and start to deal with the crime situation in Guyana. As we're talking about slumber, as we're talking about crime, as we're also watching the COVID spike, we see that in other news, the owners of Sleeping Hotel, cashier and 2 patrons were charged with breaching COVID-19 curfew. However, his attorney is arguing that the charge is bad in law, since the same regulation used to charge him also allows hotels to be open for 24 hours as essential business. I don't want to laugh. But this situation is very funny. And I say this because Sleeping has been one of the locations at the heart of this COVID curfew contention. Many government officials are spotted here. This allegedly is a hub for government officials to party. So the PPP government in their wisdom would have classified hotels as essential businesses. Now we see they've charged the owner, a cashier, and 2 patrons for breaking COVID regulations, curfew, sorry. What is happening? What is happening? I really don't want to laugh at this situation, but it is quite funny. It is quite funny when it is this same business, this same establishment that is allegedly the home, the party spot for many high-flying government officials who are seen very often breaking the curfew and COVID regulations at this same location. This same location. Folks, let me see if I can bring you some details of this story. The owner of the Hotel Clifton Bacchus, cashier Chantel Marshall, and 2 patrons appeared in court today or each granted $10,000 bail. Oh boy. The police prosecutor said it was on that date that the hotel owner breached a curfew on Church Street, and Mr. Bacchus pleaded not guilty to the charges. The cashier at the hotel, along with 2 patrons, also pleaded not guilty to the charges. Let me move on from this story. I find this hilarious. It is not funny that people are breaking the curfew, but it is funny that this particular business would find themselves in this situation. Many persons have complained that this is the hub. And I would go as far as to say that establishments like these are responsible for the rise in the rise in COVID-19 numbers and cases and deaths. And I hope we understand how this links directly to the policies of the PPP and the fact that they rolled back measures, opened up the country, so to speak, and pushed back the curfew. They created the atmosphere for persons to go to parties and go to restaurants and go to the bars and go back to church. They have created the atmosphere for that. So when we see numbers rising, we shouldn't question why this is happening. The science is very clear on this, The science is not sketchy. If you congregate in these closed spaces, the likelihood of you contracting COVID-19 is high. So when we see these super spreader events happening, whether it be sleep-in or any other club or bar, we shouldn't be surprised that the numbers are going up, and we lost 65 persons in the month of April to this disease. We shouldn't be surprised. We should not be surprised. But folks, we have to move on. So many things to cover. So many things to cover. We brought to you earlier in the week this story with GPL. And the workers of GPL are calling for a thorough investigation into the management of the power company in light of the scandalous purchase of vehicles from an entity being run by the chairman of the board of GPL. We brought this to you. We brought this to you, folks. We said it to you that, listen, this is what is happening here. We broke that information on the day of that protest. After the workers have said that, look, we see these luxury SUVs being bought for the directors. We brought to you that information and we showed you, let me bring that back up. We showed you that Mr. Maurice Gajadar, who is the chairman of the board on our corruption watch, is also the manager, is listed here as managing. Sorry, we were getting some background noise, but it's listed here as managing. Let me pull this up so you can see it. Listed here as managing, folks. The same entity that he is buying, approving the purchase of these vehicles. It is quite interesting. Quite interesting. And the workers are demanding that, look, a thorough investigation be held. Right? They've also been talking about their increase. The workers said, look, in light of this scandalous purchase of vehicles from the company that he's managing, we need an investigation to be done. We know what happened we know that this corruption runs deep with the PPP and the people associated and the people put in place by the PPP. Can make no bones about it, you know. What happened at Guy Oil, what is happening at GPL is a direct result. And again, we are drawing the line for you guys straight from the PPPs, the heart of the PPP, to all of these corrupt acts. We're drawing that line for you. We need you to understand that these board members and these directors, they didn't just happen to go in place. They were placed there by this PPP administration. And as we highlighted to you, fraud and corruption is in the DNA of the PPP. It is rooted in them. They know no other way. All they know about is kickbacks and corruption. So it isn't surprising to anybody that the people put in place by the PPP are going to hold true to form. They're going to be true to the PPP's form of corruption. And I want to, at some point in time, let us unpack these three. I mean, there are many others, but we're going to unpack GPL, Gaiwa, Guy Oil, and Gaisuku. These four state-owned entities, which is like a big basket of corrupt people being put in place there. And this sort of thing is bleeding. Funds are being bled from our country through those same four that I call it: Gaiwa, GPL, Guy Oil, Gaisuku. It's an economics of corruption, as I said before. And we will be highlighting every single detail. We'll be bringing this to you so that you understand that these people ain't changed. It's the same corrupt PPP from before 2015. Come back now. The same used tires come back. The same old stove, old crooks come back. And these corrupt acts, you will see them more and more. Because this is in their DNA. They don't know anything else. They don't know anything else. But folks, as I said, more news than time. More news than time. We have to continue. In other news, I want to talk a little bit on this issue of these 20,000 scholarships that the PPP is purported to be offering Guyanese. And again, here there are so many questions. There are more questions than answers when it comes to this these scholarships. There are more questions and answers when it comes to these scholarships, and I want to highlight some of those questions as brought up by the former Minister of Public Service, the Honorable Tabitha Haley Sarabu Haley. She has evoked quite an interesting discussion as it relates to these 20,000 scholarships that the PPP is supposedly giving out. And I believe that these questions are valid. I believe that they ought to be answered, right? They ought to be answered. This goal program, as she said, what she said here in this article is that the truth is that the PPP has not yet awarded any scholarship under the goal program. This year, funds were budgeted for approximately 4,500 scholarships. This is outside of the goal project, you know. This is outside of the goal project. Funds were allocated during the budget for about 4,500 scholarships. The ministry is only at the stage of accepting applications right now. Thus, all the billboards and signs indicating promises of 20,000 scholarships have been delivered. This is the misleading aspect about it. They're running up, pulling up billboards about 20,000 scholarships delivered. And the minister said that, listen, this has constituted nothing but false advertising and downright lies because they have not delivered one scholarship under this thing. Some questions to be asked about this scholarship. Will those persons who receive the scholarship be contractually obligated in any way to the government? And if yes, how? Will the beneficiaries of the program be required to join the public service upon completion of the studies? Was a formal needs assessment completed to inform the administration on the current and future skills needed in the public service? But again, they don't care about the public service. They closed down the Bertram College of the Public Service. So I don't see them really caring about public service. So they won't do any study to see which set of scholarships they should be giving out. Nothing like that. The minister also wants to know what are the systems in place to ensure that equity and equality in the awarding of the scholarship under this goal project. Sarabu Haley said upon taking office in 2015, the APNUAFC coalition encountered a myriad of problems with respect to the existing scholarship program. Students, upon completion of the program, had to wait for months, sometimes years, to be placed. Years after this mismatch between the number of graduates, and the vacancies, you know, this is a problem, of course, that the government had all along. There are many persons with these scholarships are coming back with masters and they can't find a job. They can't be placed in any way because there's obviously this no sort of planning, right? Right. Now, these questions need to be answered, and I mean, I need to move on to our story behind the story today. But I want to leave this story here. We'll come back and we'll get the former minister of public service on our program, and we'll go in depth and we'll unpack a number of these issues. But I want to get to my story behind this story today, and that has to deal with the leader of the opposition's visit to the markets today. He was at the East Ruimveldt market, and of course he was also at the border market interacting with persons on the ground, and we'll bring you a bit of what he said. But during his interaction with the media, he revealed something that's quite interesting, and we want to share that with you with our story behind this story for today. Let's go straight to that. Right. Folks, our story behind the story today has to do, as I said, with the leader of the opposition and his visit to the border market today, where he interacted with some persons and some vendors, and we want to bring you some of that in a little bit. But let me just take you straight to the comments by the leader of the opposition as he was out there in the border market talking about the rise in prices. We'll have that discussion at the other end of this video. Yes, I think we have. Let's see if we
out here as well, because what has happened is that over the last 2 weeks or so, we have had a number of persons coming to the office of the leader of the opposition, and they are basically, these are ordinary or small people. They are complaining that the prices in the market are going up, up, up all the time, and they have no explanation from anybody for it. Many of them have blamed the vendors in the market and generally. So what we decided to do was to come today to hear from the vendors themselves whether in fact they are the ones that are carrying out the prices, or it is that there are some other factors that are affecting it. And so we went to the Eastern Belt, and today, at this time, we just completed a part of the border market. And from almost all of the persons we spoke to, you get a sense that they have no control over the increase in prices that are there. That I mean, there's a lady just now that gave us a whole range of items on which the prices have been escalating. In fact, in some cases, it started from December last year, and it just keeps going up. There are some items because, of course, of market forces. There are sometimes the prices go up and then prices go down. But generally speaking, what they're saying is that these prices have gone up and they never came down, and just keep going up and up and up. So my purpose here today, I'm accompanied by MPs Mike Paul and McDonald.
I think we're getting some difficulty with the audio there, but I want to bring it back so you can hear what the leader of the opposition has said. Folks, we are going to be bringing you some bit of breaking information as I'm getting it here. Let me just see. So what was interesting about what the leader of the opposition said is that he revealed later down in that same piece that I'm going to bring the exact audio for you, that they're something written, and this of course is really interesting and scandalous, you have to say. Let me see if I can pull it up here for you. Right. Leader of the opposition, Joseph Hammond, has just made an explosive revelation during his border market walkabout. He has disclosed that the PPP government has given $25 million COVID relief grant each to about 50 big businesses in Guyana. This is while tens of thousands of ordinary Guyanese are yet to be given their $25,000 COVID grant. So that was revealed by the leader of the opposition on his border walkabout. So very, very interesting, and we want to see if we can bring the exact comment there for you. But that is quite interesting, quite interesting there. Right, but we want to bring it to you. $25 million given to businesses as COVID relief, so to speak. And of course, we have many Guyanese who still do not have their COVID cash grant as yet. But we see, as revealed by the leader of the opposition, there are many persons. This is quite interesting, why so many persons have not been given, and then you hear businesses have been given some huge amounts of money as for COVID relief, right? That was part of the thing there. Also, folks, we're getting word of a fake news being of piece of fake news being circulated on the internet about the leader of the opposition being COVID-19 positive. That, of course, is completely false. We let you know that that is completely false. The leader of the opposition is COVID free. Right, this was just a piece of PvP mischief being circulated on social media. So if you come across that information, you can rebut that and let them know that the leader of the opposition is not COVID-19 positive. He has tested negative while now has maintained his COVID-free status. So just to bring that piece of information to you. Guys, we're also getting another bit of breaking information here, and I want to be able to pull this up for you. Breaking news. PvP member of the Ethnic Relations Commission, the ERC, Roshan Khan, has threatened the life of APNU AFC Member of Parliament Amanza Walton Desir. Called for Walton Desir to be marked. This, and let me say this. I've always had a problem with Roshan Khan. I've always felt that his comments as a member of the Ethnic Relations Commission could be seen as incendiary, could be seen as inciting, could be seen as inflammatory, could be seen as racist. And he sits on the board of the Ethnic Relations Commission. Roshan Khan has commented and called for Amanza Walton Desir to be marked. And this constitutes, as far as I am concerned, a threat on her life. And this is what we're saying. This is the politics of Guyana. This is a politics where the man who is sitting on the board, and this is why I continue to say that the Ethnic Relations Commission can't act as a body to regulate or tell anybody anything about ethnic relations when they have a man the likes of Roshan Khan sitting on their board as a board member. In 2007, of course, you may remember that PvP leaders attacked verbally used to attack, of course, activist Ronald Waddle. He was the blunt of a lot of verbal attacks from PvP members. Right? This, of course, and those persons who can remember, he was also called out as to be marked. Same sort of words being used by Roshan Khan here in relation to Amanza Walton Desir. And we know what happened to Ronald Waddle. We don't need to recount that. We don't need to recount it. And it's here, Roshan Khan, in his post on social media. See if I can pull it up. Of course, Ms. Walton Desir, who the PvP have decided that they will attack her endlessly now, because they are afraid, of course. They have turned their attack on Amanza Walton Desir and took a comment where she said that supporters of the PvP, and a comment that extends to largely to most persons involved in politics in Guyana. And I've often said that the people in Guyana are very don't participate in their politics strongly enough. And they don't question things. And this is what the point that she was making when she spoke about PvP supporters being mentally lazy. Somehow, in their haste, as she said in her statement, to attack her, they have twisted that to say that she meant Indian persons are mentally lazy. This is, of course, assuming that the PvP supporters are all Indians. And the PvP only has Indian supporters. So are they admitting that that is the case, that they only have Indian support? Indian support? I thought they said this, they were a multiracial, multi-ethnic party. Right? Again, folks, Roshan Khan in this long tirade on Facebook. Long tirade. It's called for her to be marked. What is that supposed to mean? But folks, we continue to watch. We'll unpack these issues as we brought you that breaking information there. And of course, what the leader of the opposition said about those businesses given some $25 million in COVID relief, when persons aren't even getting their $25,000, aren't even getting that, the $25,000 for their COVID relief.
Government has been giving millions of dollars to big businesses. I understand there are some projects in which they gave several businesses, maybe 50 of them or so, $25 million COVID grant. And these small businesses in the market really need that help. Really need that help. They can't even get a $25,000 cash grant. Many of them are still holding pink slips. They haven't as yet received a cent. These people need help. They need help. The vendors in the market, the small businesses. It's not only big business that run this country, not only the big supermarkets, the big mining companies and all of that. So these are the people that need help. And that is why we are here, to identify with them and let them understand that we understand what the issues are in this country and we're going to fight for it.
Right. So, leader of the opposition there, talking about those big businesses that were given COVID relief when average Guyanese and average small businesses are not even being considered. This is a PPP government, folks. Unfortunately, our time is out. We are going to, in the following days, watch these stories, and we are going to continue to bring them to you. We want to thank you very much for being a part of the rush this afternoon. We are going to be changing courses. We're going to be going over to Miss Natasha Singh Lewis, the MP for Building Bridges. But before we go, let me, of course, give one more shout out to the people of Antigua, right, who are celebrating their Labor Day today. Happy Labor Day, of course, to those persons over there. And a special shout out to Mudvir from Antigua, Guyanese agronomist, and of course we had her on the program a while back, doing great things over there in Antigua. So to those persons, especially to my friend who always looks at the show, I was reliably informed that he is a loyal viewer. Again, before we go, let me say a special shout out to Mr. Earlton Osborne of Antigua. Antigua people, today is your day. Thank you very much for being a part of the program. Remember, let's continue to work together for national development. My name is Randolph Critchlow. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And remember, be safe, folks. Be safe. Please stay tuned for Building Bridges with MP Natasha Singh Lewis. Do enjoy the rest of the evening.